What up, people? It's your man Zubza, and you know what time it is. It's that EarReadProject special review time, where I review a book that is just around my corner, just to show love and to show that we really do pay attention to the things you say, authors. Don't think you're just gonna come out and get away with stuff. We hear, we read your stuff, and because you are from our corner, we want to really understand what you guys think about things. And it's always awesome to really read somebody who just who you could just run into, and you can ask them, what the hell were you talking about? So I guess you have already guessed who the author is. It's a she. And yeah, she did all this work for us, man. And so I have to do the right thing and talk about it, because art has to be talked about. That's what art is all about. Art has to be talked about. Why? Because it is part of an ongoing conversation, from people with a special eye, I guess I would like to say that, because they see things in a different light, and so they share those things with us, and it's only right that I talk about it. So the name of the book is Honeymoon, Honey-Earth-Fire-Spirit, and it was written by a lady called Lesedi Mafura, who is from around here, but originally from Freiburg. Well, it's interesting, man, just looking at the book in my hand and knowing that it was just released by somebody I talked to just a couple of months back. And so I would like to start talking about it. So I'm going to look into three things. One, I'm going to look at the layout. Two, I'm going to look at the grammatics. And three, I'm going to look at just the contents of the book, what the book is about. That's what I mean. So let's start with the first one. The first one is the layout. I really do think that, it's unnecessarily thick. As you can see how thick it is. It could have been smaller, in my opinion. She could have saved a lot of money on print, and she could have saved her audience a lot of money, because I will just, like, right now, I'm just gonna close my eyes and randomly open somewhere, and you will see just how much space was not used. Look at that. You see, I closed my eyes and opened just randomly, and as you can see, this just, like, I don't know, here, right here, you can see it's just a blank page. To me, that's a blank page, but maybe that's how odd poetry is, right? Yeah, I think if she could, I think this is what I think. I don't know how these things work, but she could have taken this poem, put it there, and put two other poems on one page, and each page would have had, probably 2-3 poems. But maybe I don't understand how poetry is written after war. I don't read a lot of anthologies, so yeah, that's just the layout for me. I really do think it could have been much smaller and could have saved me a lot of money. Yeah, it has my name on it, and I tagged that book. That's my book. So yeah, just the layout, it could have been much smaller. But another thing I wanted to talk about is the grammatic errors. I know she's not English. She was not raised English, and so she could have done some mistakes. But the mistakes that I'm looking into were not really about spelling, because I do know you can miss spelling. I mean, spelling is is easily missed, and we miss it all the time. What I'm more concerned about was some of the lines and how they were constructed. Excuse me. The sentence construction, some of the sentences were really not good. I don't know if you call them sentences on the stanzas, or I don't know, lines. I don't know. But I think it's lines. Yeah, I think it's lines. I really don't think that some of the lines make sense. There's a lot of stuff that I missed, and I really do think that it compromises the message of the book. I do understand what the message is about, but I do think it compromises because I mean the whole point of reading a book is going into detail and exploring in detail what a subject, yeah, in detail a subject, or what a subject really is about. I don't know if I said it right, but that's how I feel. I really feel like some of the sentence construction, and because poetry is deep, you have to read between the lines. I did miss a lot. Probably have to have a second read before I can dissect it further. The last part of this video is going to be about the actual content. The actual content is obviously a relationship book from where I'm standing. This is a relationship book. It's about, but from the perspective of, I would say, broken women, because most of the women in this story are really not happy with the situations they find themselves in. And it seems like the men in their lives are just destructive people. I don't know why. Here's opposites attract. The good attracts the bad. So these women just have a thing for bad men. I don't understand. But yeah, I mean, it's more of a motivational self-help anthology that is trying to reach out to women mostly. And they would probably disagree because they would say, no, you're a man. Also, you need to understand where women are coming from. I do agree. And I am learning, about what women, where women are coming from. And, and yeah, and I'm really trying not to abuse women and whatnot. And I don't know if, this is a book for me, though. With that said, I really do think that the approach or the angle at which the book was written on, it was pretty obvious. There was nothing hectic about it. As an artist and somebody who likes wordplay and creativity and creative writing, I do think that it's important. It could have been nicer if I would have heard, some wordplay and just beautiful, I guess, imagery put into put into words and whatnot, so that I can visualize some of the things that are happening in the book. But I really didn't catch most of the imagery, although I did catch bits of it. I really wish I could have seen more in terms of the picture she was trying to paint. And like I said, most of it was probably lost to all the grammatic errors. But I do think that it's great that the sister really went out of her way to put together this artwork. And it's important because for me it puts a dent on Hutong, and on our psyches, and it really does disturb something and shows, but in a beautiful way, disturb it in a beautiful way, don't get me wrong, and really start provoking people to think in a different manner. And that's what art is all about. Art is not always about perfection, but it's about really a shift, a paradigm shift. And if you're not creating art to shift paradigms, then you are really wasting your time. And just the fact that this sister right here put together this book is really amazing and wonderful to observe. And as a person who knows just how difficult it is to create a work of art, package it, and spread it so that it can reach people, I will always commend you for the work. With that said, I would like to end the video right here, but I would also challenge Lesedi, if she has some answers, to really probably, we could organize, uh, we could probably organize an EarRead special where you can come and really be on an interview so that we can do a podcast on your book. That's of course if that's of course if you're interested. If you're not, it's still fine. I'll meet you in the streets, and then we'll talk about it. But I would love to have you come to the EarRead so that we can talk about the book. So because I have so much stuff, you guys, you can see I have so many questions. You can see those are like, me dividing the books into those parts where I felt like you hit me, or where I think I need a question. Somewhere I even highlighted, like right there, you see I highlighted where you say, I love a man who humbles himself. This soldier knows how to fight. I would like to understand that, because Ma, we trying to get, women. So you wrote a book for women. This is probably my key to getting women. What up? Shup. But with that said, you watching the EarRead Project special review on Honeymoon, Honey Earth, Honey Fire, and Honey Spirit. And you can cop the book, from Lesedi. You can find it on Facebook, and just cop the book for 150 rands and support our own. With that said, I hope you grow and you become better at what you do. I hope you just don't stop doing it, because it's really important. You could inspire a lot of ladies in our communities to take themselves really serious. And with that said, sub-series out. Chapow. Mwah, baby.